Hi, you're watching New Time on Silkway TV channel. This week we take you to the heart of the stories shaping Kazakhstan, Central Asia and the world, from high-stakes politics to economic shifts. We break down the headlines, add context and bring you insight from leading experts across the region and beyond. I am your Gali Ramazanulu and here's what's coming up. Artificial intelligence is becoming the backbone of the new global economy, while data is turning into one of the world's most strategic resources. So where does Kazakhstan stand in this race? President Tokayev convenes the second meeting of the Council on AI Development. Details in a few moments. OPEC Plus moves towards a gradual increase in oil production, adding new uncertainty to global energy markets. What could this mean for Kazakhstan's economy? An expert breaks it down for New Time. The Kazakh TAZ is moving closer to full international recognition, but what still stands in the way? In an exclusive interview, the president of the International Canine Federation explains what Kazakhstan must do for its national breed to gain full global status. Political week in Kazakhstan began with a brutally honest conversation about artificial intelligence as Kassym-Jomart Tokayev chaired the second meeting of the Council for the Development of AI in Almaty. The head of state said Kazakhstan risks being left on the sidelines of global progress unless it rapidly builds a real digital economy powered by data, AI and platform solutions. President Tokayev called for the creation of a national network of data centers, the expansion of digital public services, the development of a crypto industry, and the launch of Central Asia's first AI university. More on this in our next segment. Almaty, one round table and some of the key voices shaping the reality and future of artificial intelligence. Kazakh and international experts gathered for an unusually candid discussion on where Kazakhstan really stands in its ambitious push to become a modern digital state powered by AI.
The concept of the digital economy is still in the process of defined, and existing methodology is fragmented. When the targeted 5% GDP growth is reported, we should distinguish between growth driven by the real sector and gains resulting from genuine innovation. So there should be a very clear distinction. General indicators often create an illusion of efficiency, making all difficult to assess the real contribution of digitalization and artificial intelligence to economic growth. The government, in coordination with the Agency for Strategic Planning and Reforms, should submit comprehensive proposals on evaluating the digital economy's impact on GDP.
Kassym-Jomart Tokayev warned that artificial intelligence is rapidly deepening the gap between developed and developing economies, concentrating technologies and capital in the hands of global leaders. He said this should serve as a wake-up call for Kazakhstan, which must accelerate the development of its own practical AI solutions before the technological divide becomes impossible to close.
To break free from any chance of economic stagnation, we must pivot toward a digital economy by building large-scale digital platforms. Without unified government data, AI will remain ineffective. In this regard, we must transform government services into an invisible yet ultra-efficient operating system that eliminates excessive bureaucratic requirements. In this traditional system, the process from request to decision takes days and even weeks. Ideally, this cycle should be reduced to a few seconds, driving a massive increase in capital turnover nationwide.
According to the World Bank, the digital economy already generates more than 15% of global GDP, a sign that competition is no longer centered around goods alone, but increasingly around data, platforms and technological standards. Kassym-Jomart Tokayev said Kazakhstan cannot afford to stay on the sidelines of this shift, pointing to countries like the United Arab Emirates, which is moving towards a fully cashless economy, and China, where digital platforms already process transactions worth trillions of dollars. Yet, according to the president, this transformation has so far reached Kazakhstan only partially.
Kazakhstan recently took a major step in this direction by successfully launching the Keden Unified Customs Clearance platform last month. Now the declaration issuance takes less than a minute, with most documents processed automatically. In parallel, the Smart Cargo National Logistics Platform is being established, integrating 127 data sources. This will enable expedited border crossing for compliant companies. Radical changes have also occurred in the fiscal sphere. The integrated tax administration system has reduced processing time from an hour to 1 minute, streamlining services for 2 million taxpayers.
Kassym-Jomart Tokayev said Kazakhstan is now aiming to position itself as a regional crypto and digital finance hub. The president highlighted the rapid growth of cashless payments, which already account for more than 80% of transactions nationwide, and pointed to the expanding use of the digital tenge to improve transparency and reduce transaction costs. He also called for faster development of the country's digital assets market, including the tokenization of real estate, gold, and industrial shares. New AI talent is expected to enter Kazakhstan's job market following the launch of Central Asia's first artificial intelligence university, set to open this September.
Together with the financial regulators in Central Asian region, Kazakhstan has conducted the first AI study for the region. It gives us a clear picture of the whole market. In Kazakhstan, 68% of banks already use AI, compared to below 50% across Central Asia. The average return on AI investments is already positive, and 77% of banks plan to expand its use. At the same time, only 2% have reached full industrial deployment. This means Kazakhstan leads the region in adoption, but scaling remains the challenge. The barriers are clear: talent, data quality, confidentiality, and regulatory bottlenecks.
International experts also shared their views on Kazakhstan's broader AI transformation strategy, presenting their vision for what can be done to accelerate and enhance the country's action plan.
Imagine a system that alerts a ministry to emerging events and execution risks before they escalate. A system that remembers every commitment, reminding officials of the promises that they have made. A system that listens attentively to key ministerial briefings, distills their substance, and shepherds the resulting action items to completion. As a member of the AI Council, I have proposed to the President and the AI Ministry that Kazakhstan start to plan this decisive step.
R&D spend remains below 1% of GDP. AI without R&D for areas of industrial strength is pretty scaffolding for a weak building. To that end, scientists need the freedom to be founders and return as researchers. It should follow neither the US nor China models as templates. But from industry R&D strengths, Kazakhstan can become a global intelligence switchboard. A global networker, as we called it in our study on global AI strategies, unifying Central Asia for additional scale.
The AI discussions continued later that day with meetings involving Kai-Fu Lee and Thomas Pramadetham. The latter's company expressed interest in Kazakhstan's Data Center Valley project aimed at creating a specialized ecosystem for artificial intelligence infrastructure, computing power, and digital services. During a meeting with Trixie Low-Merman, the sides discussed the prospects of turning JETEX AI Central Asia and Caucasus into a permanent annual platform for Central Asia, as well as the possibility of hosting additional regional events in Kazakhstan. Afterwards, Kassym-Jomart Tokayev toured the JETEX exhibition, where he was presented with the country's latest digital and technological developments. Yergali Ramazanula, New Time. We want to use Kazakhstan and Astana as a showcase to the region and to the world for what can be achieved with technology and the impact it can make, said the CEO of Presight in an exclusive interview for the program Reporter with President. One of the key examples of this approach is the Smart City initiative currently being implemented in Astana. The project is designed to enhance public safety, improve urban management and raise the overall quality of life through AI-powered digital solutions and data analytics. The company is also planning to expand this approach to Almaty. Here's what this development could mean in practice.
If you know, we launched the Astana platform 2 weeks ago with the president. The platform has now already integrated 11 regions, including, of course, managing Astana's municipality services, transportation, public safety, and many more. Yesterday, we announced with Akim Almaty that we'll set up a smart city platform to support the citizen services in Almaty to bring AI and data analytics algorithms for urban management here. We look forward to setting up the infrastructure needed, including AI data centers, as well as a AI-driven urban management platform like what we're doing for Astana. I think Astana has led the way. Almaty will follow on very quickly, but Kazakhstan has now positioned itself as a very strong digital nation that is adopting AI-native approaches.
A major cotton textile cluster is set to appear in the south of Kazakhstan. The project is expected to attract $360 million in investment and create more than 4,000 jobs. Chairman of China's Xinjiang Lihua Group, Zhang Zihai, spoke about the initiative during a meeting with Kassym-Jomart Tokayev at the Akorda Presidential Palace. The new enterprise will include a full production cycle from cotton processing to the manufacturing of fabrics, home textiles and clothing. The chairman noted that 2 cotton processing plants have already been launched, while new facilities are expected to open in the coming years. The project also includes the expansion of cotton fields to 52,000 hectares using drip irrigation and digital farming technologies. President Tokayev stressed that the cluster is important for developing Kazakhstan's agricultural and manufacturing sectors and highlighted the need to train local specialists and actively introduce water-saving and AI-based solutions into cotton production. This week, Kazakhstan is marking 2 major holidays, Defender of the Fatherland Day and Victory Day. In Astana, a ceremony was held to present state awards and military ranks to more than 3 dozen servicemen, law enforcement officers, rescuers and security personnel. Kassym-Jomart Tokayev congratulated the recipients and stressed that Kazakhstan remains committed to resolving conflicts through diplomacy and negotiations, while also strengthening its defense capabilities amid growing global instability. The head of state said the country would continue with the technological modernization of the armed forces. President Tokayev also highlighted that national security, territorial integrity and the law and order principle remain among Kazakhstan's key strategic priorities.
We are convinced that all conflicts must be resolved through diplomatic means and negotiations. However, if necessary, we are ready to defend our interests not only through diplomacy but also from tougher positions. We believe that the principles and norms of international law must be strictly observed. Kazakhstan will continue to strengthen friendly relations with all countries around the world. These fundamental principles are clearly enshrined in our new constitution. At the same time, this doesn't mean that we can sit idly by. Our country must be prepared to prevent various challenges and respond to any threats. Therefore, we need to strengthen our defense capabilities and continue first and foremost the technological modernization of armed forces. This is a requirement of today's unstable and turbulent times. With this in mind, it is essential to carry out deep reforms in our armed forces and paramilitary structures. This is a strategically important task that must be accomplished within a short time frame of 2 years.
Соны ескере отырып, ең алдымен қарулы күштерімізді және әскери мекемелерімізді түбегейлі реформалау керек. Бұл стратегиялық маңызы зор міндет. Оны созбай 2 жыл ішінде орындау қажет.
Austrian investment in Kazakhstan has surpassed $3 billion, with Kazakhstan now accounting for more than 80% of Austria's trade with Central Asia. These and other areas of cooperation were discussed by Kassym-Jomart Tokayev during a meeting with Austria's Federal Minister for European and International Affairs Beate Meinl-Reisinger and Federal Minister for the Interior Gerhard Karner. President Tokayev noted that today's security challenges are becoming increasingly cross-border in nature and stressed the importance of deeper cooperation between law enforcement agencies. He also welcomed the growing interaction between the ministries and institutions of the two countries, in particular agreements on a visa-free regime for holders of diplomatic passports and on readmission entered into force on May 1st. The head of state also reaffirmed his invitation to his Austrian counterpart, Alexander van der Bellen, to visit Kazakhstan at a convenient time.
Our visit comes at a very timely moment. For us, Kazakhstan is most important partner in Central Asia, not only economically but also politically. We closely cooperate on issues of security and migration as well as within multilateral platforms. I was very pleased to welcome Kazakhstan's foreign minister in Vienna during the OSCE ministerial meeting because we highly value your country's leadership within the organization.
Artificial intelligence could help cut global greenhouse gas emissions by up to 10% if used responsibly. At the same time, its rapid growth is raising concerns about resource consumption. Some estimates suggest that just 10 to 50 prompts in a popular chatbot may require up to half a liter of water. Yet, despite these costs, AI is already proving to be a powerful tool in tackling global challenges, from monitoring climate change to improving water management and even discovering new water sources. In an exclusive interview with our channel, Tomas Lamanauskas of the International Telecommunication Union spoke about how balancing AI's resource use with its potential could become a key part of the global climate agenda.
It has two sides of it, So it has a challenging side, and you already mentioned, and I think statistics differ these days. A lot of people are still assessing, but indeed, there is an accepted fact that AI data centers need a lot of water for cooling. Even there are some solutions now, artificial intelligence, also related solutions that help water discovery and discovery of the water sources, and again, better use of it, to much smarter use of the water, so like a smart metering, again, smart water supplies. So these needs to be balanced against each other, So of course we hope, let's say the more exact statistics about the climate. So we see that, AI can actually help reduce 5 to 10% of the global CO2 emissions, or greenhouse gas emissions, by 2030. So it's a pretty powerful impact as well.
The beginning of a new month is bringing a fresh wave of developments across Kazakhstan and Central Asia, from major investment deals and energy expansion plans to shifting trade dynamics across the region. Let's take a closer look at our weekly segment, Central Asia in Focus. My colleague Nuray Asylbek joins me now. Nuray, what are the main developments shaping the region this week?
Thanks, Yergali. You're right. It's been a very dynamic start to the month. We're seeing a clear acceleration across several fronts. Trade is expanding, energy strategies are being scaled up, and foreign investors are stepping in with the new large-scale projects. Altogether, these trends point to a region that is becoming more economically active, interconnected, and attractive for long-term investments. We open our segment by looking at the volume of regional trade. Kazakhstan continues to lead Central Asia in trade with China. According to China's General Administration of Customs, bilateral turnover reached $13.2 billion in the first quarter of this year, a sharp increase of nearly 47% compared to the same period of last year. This placed Kazakhstan far ahead of its regional neighbors. For example, Uzbekistan ranks second with $4.1 billion, followed closely by Kyrgyz Republic with $4 billion. Turkmenistan's trade volume stands at $2.2 billion, while Tajikistan reached $1 billion. Overall, Kazakhstan accounts for the largest share of China's trade with Central Asia, reinforcing its role as the region's key economic partner. Meanwhile, Uzbekistan is stepping up its energy ambitions. President Shavkat Mirziyoyev has approved a new plan to expand the country's hydropower sector for 2032. By the end of this year, Uzbekistan aims to commission an additional 114 megawatts of capacity and generate over 7 billion kilowatt-hours of electricity. Looking further ahead, the strategy includes the construction of pumped storage power plants with a combined capacity of 1,400 megawatts. Overall, hydropower capacity is expected to grow by 2.4 times, adding more than 3,200 megawatts. The plan is also introducing regulatory reforms to speed up infrastructure development and allow the use of drones for surveying and project planning, improving both efficiency and accuracy. Kazakhstan is also strengthening its position in the agricultural sector through new foreign investments. An agreement has been reached with Iran's Golran Industrial Group to build two major facilities, an oil extraction plant and a poultry farm. The total investment is estimated at $120 million. The first project involves the construction of a large-scale oil extraction plant with a processing capacity of up to 3,000 tons of sunflower seeds per day. With an estimated investment of $70 million, the facility is expected to significantly deepen processing levels and increase the added value of Kazakhstan's agricultural exports. The second project focuses on building a modern poultry farm worth around $50 million. It will aim to boost domestic meat production, improving product quality and strengthening the country's food security. The Iranian company has already expressed strong interest in localizing production in Kazakhstan and is currently evaluating potential regions for the projects. Experts say the launch of joint processing facilities could mark a shift from raw exports toward a higher value production, while also bringing new technologies and strengthening long-term economic ties between the two countries. Turning to Kyrgyz Republic, the country is attracting major interest in green energy. China Energy Engineering Investment Company is considering investing up to $1 billion in solar and wind power projects. The proposed capacity totals 700 megawatts, with 500 megawatts coming from solar and 200 from wind energy. Kyrgyz authorities say renewable energy remains a top priority and have reaffirmed their readiness to support international investors at every stage of project development. The initiative could significantly strengthen Kyrgyzstan's energy sector and reduce reliance on traditional power sources. And finally, some good news from the world of sports. Tajikistan claimed first place at the IGF Grand Slam Dushanbe 2026, delivering an impressive performance on the home ground. The national team secured 4 medals in total, 3 gold and 1 bronze, topping the medal standing ahead of Mongolia and Russia. The tournament brought together 240 athletes from 34 countries and is part of International Judo Federation's World Tour. Competitions were held across 14 weight categories for both men and women. A strong result for Tajikistan and a memorable event for fans across the region. And that's all from me for now. Back to you, Ergali.
Thanks, Nuray Silbiak, for that comprehensive overview in Central Asia in Focus. Countries within the OPEC Plus have agreed to a gradual increase in oil production. This June, total output quotas will rise by 188,000 barrels per day as part of a phased rollback of previous voluntary production cuts. Experts say the decision is largely symbolic and is unlikely to significantly shift the balance of the global oil market. Still, even such a modest increase could have an impact on both the market and the economies of member states. For Kazakhstan, this may translate into higher tax and customs revenues driven by elevated oil prices, stronger earnings for oil companies, and increased activity across the oil and gas sector, along with higher demand for goods and services, both domestically and in export markets. Against this backdrop, analysts note that in an increasingly competitive global oil market, the key factor is no longer just production volume, but how effectively countries adapt their energy sectors to new conditions. How the strategic shift is reshaping the industry in the experts' analysis.
In this very high competition, what should first of all economy participants do? Firstly, the oil companies. They will do the shift to increase their operational efficiency, to decrease all the costs that are excessive, as to produce more oil with the competitive price. On the other hand, there is no chance but to process our oil and to make processing oil to oil products, petrochemical products, and this is the we can see now a lot of oil and gas companies now investing in the petrochemical sector. So exporting and producing only the crude oil cannot bring additional value. Our economy can gain only after we have increased the processing and oil crude to produce not only crude oil but also other petrochemical products such as polypropylene, polyethylene, and others. And as well as we can witness the energy ministry now announced the new round for the exploration rights and exploration contracts. So we can see that the battle and the race for the new areas will be very high in the coming years.
Positive signals are emerging from the Middle East. Several major international media outlets, including CNN and Bloomberg, report that the United States and Iran are moving close to a potential agreement aimed at ending hostilities. According to the reports, the deal could include an Iranian moratorium on uranium enrichment, a U.S. commitment to ease sanctions and unfreeze billions of dollars in Iranian assets, as well as mutual steps to restore unrestricted transit through the Strait of Hormuz. At the time of recording this program, Tehran has not made any official statements, yet Donald Trump also sounded optimistic about the prospects for a deal.
Despite having a little skirmish in Iran, because we can't let Iran have a nuclear weapon, and we're beating them badly, and they want to settle very badly. It'll all work out very quickly. But despite having that, some people would call it a war. I call it a military operation, and for lots of reasons. But it's only that. And when you look at the kind of things that are happening, we are doing that for one very, very important reason. We cannot allow them to have a nuclear weapon. So I think most people that understand that, they understand that what we're doing is right, and it'll be over quickly.
The situation around the Strait of Hormuz immediately affected global jet fuel prices because this route is critical for both crude oil and refined fuel supplies. In some regions, aviation fuel prices surged by 70% or even doubled within weeks. Airlines worldwide were forced to revise costs, cut flights, and raise ticket prices. At the peak of the crisis, oil prices jumped from around $85 per barrel to more than $200, pushing jet fuel prices up more than threefold. In an interview with the Financial Times, AirAsia CEO Tony Fernandez described the shock for the aviation industry as even greater than the COVID pandemic. Some airlines have not only reduced routes but were forced to halt operations entirely. US-based Spirit Airlines suspended all flights after failing to secure emergency financial support from Washington. Even now, despite signs of possible de-escalation, the market remains highly volatile because supply chains cannot recover overnight. Baikonur is opening a new chapter in its launch history. From Site 45, the next generation Soyuz 5, also known as Sunkar, has lifted off for the first time, marking the start of full-scale flight development tests. The mission went as planned. Both stages performed flawlessly, placing a mass simulator payload onto a calculated suborbital trajectory before it safely descended into a designated area of the Pacific Ocean. This first launch is a precision test of a system designed to deliver future missions into orbit.
Полный режим, главное сцепление тяги.
Beyond these successful tests, the project carries strategic importance for the region. Developed under the joint Kazakhstan-Russia Baytarek program, Soyuz 5 is expected to become a core element of a new launch system. The rocket can deliver up to 17 tons of payload into low Earth orbit and is powered by the RD-171MV, the world's most powerful liquid rocket engine. Engineers say it is designed to improve launch precision while lowering the cost per mission. The fully modernized Baytarek complex includes more than 40 integrated technical systems and a high level of automation, supporting all stages of pre-launch operations. By using kerosene and liquid oxygen instead of more toxic fuels, the system reflects a shift toward more environmentally responsible space launches while strengthening Kazakhstan's role in the global space industry.
Произошло грандиозное событие. Абсолютно новая ракета «Союз».
A landmark event has taken place. The brand new Soyuz 5 Sunkar rocket has successfully launched from the fully modernized launch complex of the Baytarek Space Rocket Complex. This is an achievement we have been working toward for a long time with the support of the presidents of the Republic of Kazakhstan and the Russian Federation, as well as the governments of both countries. All of this became possible thanks to strategic and technological partnership and, most importantly, mutual trust. We believe this success represents a new platform for further ambitious projects.
Для дальнейших грандиозных проектов.
An international dog show, Astana Winner 2026, has attracted the attention of the global canine community. This year, more than 350 dogs of various breeds are taking part in the exhibition. But special attention is focused on Kazakhstan's national pride, the Kazakh Taze. More than 60 elegant and fast-running Taze dogs entered the arena, reflecting the spirit of the steppe. The dogs impressed representatives of the FCI, International Canine Federation. In an exclusive interview, its president Tamas Yakel said the breed could soon move closer to full international recognition. The Taze is currently recognized on a so-called provisional basis. This means the dogs are already eligible to participate in FCI-organized dog shows, but due to the required recognition time frame, they're still unable to compete for several top international titles. Here's how he explained the process.
When 10 years pass by, some new evidence is needed, the population is big enough, the separate families exist because of the variety, genetic variety has to be there, and it has to be tested by different experts. It's a lot of work from the Kennel Club because the population analyzes health tests, usually hip score, some DNA test of different possible disease has to be proven to be quite good in order to put it into the FCI standard and scientific commission. These dogs are living in a quite large territorial area, so you have to find them, you have to make the owners cooperating. This is sometimes the most difficult thing, to convince them, please help us, please provide your dog for different tests because we need it for the breed.
And that's all for today. Stay with Silkway TV channel and follow our social media pages for more top stories and special projects. Thanks for watching New Time and see you next week.